what up? It's New Age Sha, and welcome back. Now, I've just spent some time. I want to talk to you. I'm going to talk to you, or I'm going to enjoy talking to you about Jupiter in Pisces. See, Jupiter in Pisces really fascinates me in the sense of it brings back to me joy. Now, Jupiter in Pisces to me says Jesus, says coming of age, the dawning of the ages, the breaking of the tablets, the emergence of the tablets, biblical histories, ancient deserts and time. See, Pisces rules vast oceans, but the desert is nothing but a vast ocean of sand, if you would. Now, Jupiter in Pisces to me is the poet, the sonnet, the whimsical features of a fairy. Jupiter is motion picture, not like how Sagittarius captures it or brings it or anchors it onto the world or into the earth, onto la tierra. Sagittarius allows the projection of such visions and magic as well as embodiment of Pisces, but has a running theme of aperture. Jupiter simultaneously rules Sagittarius and Pisces. And so it's only apparent that they function alike, you know? They're in cahoots, like brothers and sisters, you know? The mastermind and the one who sees it out. The trickster who embodies the movement, who has the guts and the wills to see it through. The dreamer and the action taker. Jupiter traditionally rules laws, jurisdiction, higher mind, philosophy, expansion, good luck, polyamory, I believe, or polygamy. Jupiter is said to be the guru, teacher, husband, guide. Jupiter could also be the scribe who writes down the historical facts, who transcribes the historical and religious happenings. You see, Sagittarius is the archaic embodiment of the temple, so to speak. And Pisces is the presence that is welcomed or invited in such places. As see, they work together, temple and spirit. Now, I wrote a list here. I just went down, I just sat down and meditated. Well, you know, just pulled up Jupiter and Pisces in my brain. And I just wrote down everything that was in my brain. Oops. And then I went online and just pulled up a few things real quick just to double check my intuition and got some actual real-time happenings that would help support any of what it is that I am claiming. No. Most of this is intuitive. A lot of this is backed up by education. Also, this is partly esoteric, spiritual, and semi-practical. Potential to be practical. Although Pisces is not really a practical sign. But Pisces can definitely come in handy. You know, Virgo, imagine Virgo, the metal detector, Mercury, looking for some gold, right? Some gold at the beach. Virgo, Mercury metal detector thing, looking for some gold or something good and shiny on the beach. And she can't find it. Virgo can't find it. Maybe someone lost their ring or something. Now, Pisces, ruling both the sand and the ocean waters, washes up to the shore. And there goes your ring. There goes your gold. Okay? This is the energy of Pisces. Things magically appearing for you by the graces of the benevolent spirits that be. A lot, or more so, or mostly, nature spirits. Spirits that govern the waters, the elements, the water, the air. And the mystery that comes behind such magical structures or creations. Why did I say structures? Oh, Saturn is, you know, in planetary joy in the 12th house, which is the home of Pisces. But let's not get too intermingled here. Pisces energies. Give it all to me, all to me. Come to me, all, more. Come. Magic, more. And this is why Jupiter rules Pisces as well. Because Jupiter is expansion. It will keep growing and growing. It's the biggest planet. More and more. And in Pisces, because there's no boundaries, because this is the lack of time and space, or the primordial space, the void, where the divine pulls a rabbit out of the hat. Jupiter in Pisces has no boundaries, no bounds, and it gives of plenty of whatever is found in those waters and or sands, you know. Now, more. Pisces like, sure. We can go as big as we want, bigger, dream bigger, more. And whoa, can you imagine the ecstasy that Jupiter finds in Pisces? Now, with every sign, especially Pisces, you know, embodying the duality or dualness, right? Light and dark, good and bad. Yin and yang. Jupiter, yeah, just like anything, something too much of anything could be no good. But just like we mentioned, it depends on what's in the waters or what's in the sands. That goes for the individual, and the sand representing your body, representing your vessel. And the waters and the soul and the spirit and the imagination and the creativity and the magic that embodies it. So depending on that being and the very natures and influence of that being's natures, spirits, good or bad, influencing, you know, reincarnations, other stars, whatever, wherever it is that we embody, can be a manifest of maybe something horrific or something extremely healing, magical, and uplifting. Okay, let's see. What else do we have before we commence? Jupiter in Pisces loves children, loves animals. Jupiter in Pisces wants to see the children smile, wants you to be that forever child. Creating lands and times where one can abide by nothing but his or her fancies. It's not necessarily Peter Pan, but the destination of where Peter Pan goes and the ways of travel of how Peter Pan gets to Neverland. Okay? Before I get serious, yeah, infinite possibilities and maybe troubles of making the mind, because the mind wants to grow. I suggest grow until you can grow no more. All right, Heavenly Divine Father, thank you so much for allowing me to serve you. Know I love you. Know I honor you. Know I worship you. Allow me to continue to be your vessel of change, Lord. Allow me to be your voice, Lord. I honor you. I honor you. Glory to your name. Thank you. Now, let's see what my notes say. Some of them are going to be a little bit messy, but if it's too messy, I will elaborate, okay? I didn't read back on the notes. I had intention of reading back on the notes, but I'm on a timing schedule. You know, I have kids and I'm cooking and, you know, cleaning and showering and trying to get everything done. I have a very small window to get this done, okay? So, governing spiritual laws. Jupiter in Pisces. Governing spiritual laws. Exposure of guru, spiritualist. Healing via vast intangible beliefs. Healing via vast intangible beliefs. Right? Almost like placebo. But this one's a lot more fun because it comes from inside or outside, somewhere dark and vast. So that hole, that void that we draw creation from. Redefining spiritual laws of ascension. Emergence of a collective baptism. Gaming industry revolutionizes itself where there's further immersion into the experience. The reality becomes more online. A blurring of lines between fantasy and reality. Okay, a coming together, a merging, okay, of the gaming world and our world, right? As we project our consciousness into such portals and we draw it nearer, closer to ourselves. Expansion of visionaries and dream workers. So we're going to have prolific visionaries and dream workers emerge. Okay. Integrating dream time. This is the blurring of the lines between dream and reality. It's such a magical time. Patience and cultivation of the dream realm and the imagination. So we're almost going to feel like we don't have enough time because there's so much excitement that time basically dissipates, which gives us an anxiety, which forces us to create a false sense of being hurried or a need to hurry. Being patient enough to cultivate or the dream realm and the imagination, because in those spaces time is of no reality. Patience and a slowing down while ensuing an integration of dream time into the reality. Dissolving marriages, spiritual marriages, as well as twin flame unions. So there will be final separations of twin flames and the final coming together of official twin flames, the real ones. We're going to start seeing spiritual pairs rise. Spiritual pairs are rising, okay? We're going to be seeing them. Expansion of the awareness of spiritual guides. So a lot more guides are going to be coming online, but a lot more are going to be finding their place and their niche. In the same token, you're going to see a lot of these spiritual gurus and spiritualists dissolve into nothingness, okay? expansion of the awareness of your spiritual guides and spiritual marriages based on unconditional love. So you're going to have a dual reality in regards to your marriages on the 3D and your marriages on the 5 or 8 dimension. Okay. The 8th dimension will take you to multiple worlds, which allows you to traverse. I want to say the metaverse. I love that word now. And find the location and connection of your spiritual guides, spiritual marriages, and your source of unconditional love that may not be anchored in the 3D form due to your 3D contract here. Okay, so multiple realities. You're going to be living different lives on different stages, and you're going to become further aware of this. Okay, as although Pisces is the subconscious or the sleeping realm, there's going to be so much emphasis and luck, good luck, things happening out of the blue that we cannot deny, which is going to bring our focus into this Piscean environment. Whether we choose to place focus on this, it's going to be expanding around this. It's like drowning and you don't even know you're drowning. Or that slowly the atmosphere is filling up with water and you don't even notice that you've been breathing underwater this whole time. Didn't they say that humans come from underwater? We used to breathe underwater or something like that? Something like that, you know? Mermaids and mystical creatures of such. Also, an expansion of drug use, but less of the more harmful things and more of psychedelics to allow for the dream time integration. So it's a very psychedelic-y, opportune time, as Jupiter is good luck and also is the teacher, the spiritual teacher. So you will see that you will be learning a lot more from your psychedelic friends, your healthy ones, okay? Blessings and benevolence of the ancestors. So you're going to witness more blessings from the spiritual realm. I'm telling you, you're not going to be able to ignore them. You're going to hear knocking. You're going to hear whistling. You're going to see more feathers. Some are going to see some flickering of the lights. Some are going to hear some banging on the window, howling in the wind, rattling of the home. This is spiritual messages and blessings and benevolence of the ancestors who are choosing to no longer be ignored by us or by you or by a subconscious mind. So they're transcending that subconscious barrier that kept them or you from fully realizing them and what it is that they have to offer you. Now, things get a little weird here. Now, also, Jupiter in Pisces, to me, says floods, flooding. And that's flooding on multiple spirits, flooding of mass awakenings, flooding of mass emotional cleansing, flooding of mass emotional pain, flooding of territories and lands, floods. Resurrection of lost cities and souls. So something I can see ultimately, this is a stirring up or a beginning of like Atlantean or Lemurian cities or rising and or descending. For some reason I feel like Lemuria would descend, kind of like Jerusalem. So resurrection of lost cities and souls, and these could be lost cities and on actual tierra, like actual earth, actual dirt, like actual lands. Okay. Now we have fantasies, motion pictures, rise in imagination and creativity. So we're gonna have like really cool films, new imagination, more imaginative realms appearing, like almost like Harry Potter, Disney. These are where these types of creators and or beings and or fantasies are going to be born. We're going to see newness and freshness in these areas as new worlds are being created fanatically. Although I mentioned before with the motion pictures with Sagittarius has a lot to do with that vision as well. They work together. And Aquarius as well, as Aquarius is the conduit or the scientist or the creator who technologically makes all of this happen, if that makes sense. On a more scientific, technological scale, Aquarius has a lot to do with serving Pisces in this way, as Aquarius pulls from Pisces subconsciously always. Okay, Now we have exaggeration and agitation of mental illnesses. A lot of people are going to be going through so many fast awakenings that we might see what may appear as a rise in mental illnesses, sadness, and or depression, and or hypermanias and manias, or being healed by such. A lot of us are learning to integrate what has been marked as a mental illness, okay? And we're actually going to be healed from such stigmatization of our dual or split realities, okay? As we begin to bring it all into the same atmosphere, if you would. Breakthroughs in the treatment of mental and psychotic illnesses, and this has a lot to do with the psychedelics at hand. So you're going to be seeing psychedelics being brought or beginning to be brought. A lot of this we might not see obviously, because remember, Pisces is behind the scenes. Pisces is the Wizard of Oz. Pisces is pulling everything behind the scenes. So a lot of this you will see overtly, but a lot of this it will be being pulled and or moved and maneuvered behind the scenes. And then also we have portals are awakening. So as we begin to traverse the 3D into the 5D, but then we actually get out of the system through the 8th dimension, where we are now traveling through the metaverse. I'm sorry, I love that word. I'm not sorry, I just need a better word. And but I love that word, so why not? Okay. Portals will be awakening, so we're going to see new opportunities and new portals awakening, which means new worlds again will be showing themselves to us. So not only will we be creating them, they will be shown to us, okay? Dreaming while awake, same thing. And blurring of reality lines, nature decides to heal itself. In which manner? Not exactly sure. And this is where the flooding kind of idea comes from. Emergence of magical creatures as well, like fairies and fae. We're going to see like a new creature, new animals. We're going to see like new species emerging. Okay, so I know this sounds so interesting, but yes. Of mystical forms, mystical magical forms. Okay, so we're going to start seeing this magical essence of Pisces, the magic. Think Disney, think magic, think Alice in Wonderland, although that's kind of trippy like LSD, but yeah, think psychosis, think schizophrenia, think you know, seeing other worlds, astral projecting. Sleep paralysis, I think, is a thing, but you know, that has something to do with the 8th house within that's the 8th portal again. And then we have endless creative possibilities, closing out cycles of glamour and fame, right? So glamour, Pisces rules glamour and fame and the illusion of such. As we can see, those lines are blurring even further. And next thing you know, who we once perceived as celebrities are going to be right in front of our face. Like, we're going to be there's going to be more celebrities, more well-known people. People are going to become more connected. The barriers between what is glamour and real and illusion, all of that is dissolving. And we're going to become more noticeable. But we could also get lost in that sea as well. So we are we are changing into a more magical essence form that we can manipulate to appear in any way. In any which way, okay? Pedestals are dissolving, okay? Many pedestals are dissolving, and measuring via spiritual health and success. So now we will start measuring or placing value on others based on their spiritual health and success, okay? So we're going to be looking for spiritual health in others. That's going to come first. Also, unexpected manifestations, newfound inspiration, fantasy, novels, and movies, okay? I'm telling you, so maybe a really cool breakthrough novel or a really cool breakthrough movie that has to do with sci-fi is more Aquarius, but, you know, about 29 degrees Aquarius, like 28, 29. We're basically into Pisces, and we're just taking that twang of Aquarius into the Pisces. It's like that connector, that conduit, metal. If Aquarius is like a metal to me. And so fantasy novels and movies, and I'll tell you what movies and stuff were released when Pisces went in, when Jupiter was in Pisces in other eras. Etheric flowing aesthetics. So we're gonna see like a very more etheric, alien, flowing, soft, demure, feminine aesthetic emerging, like soft blues, soft hues, soft tans, soft like beige and natural, soft pink, soft purples, all of that. You're gonna see more like glitter, glimmer. We had a little bit of that, a little bit show up in makeup not too long ago, but the aesthetic wasn't exactly up to par with it. So you're gonna probably see more of a cohesive aesthetic with a glowy alien-like look, which is what my makeup is inspired by. Maybe a little bit softer, as I gave it a little bit of an edge. You just have to, because I'm doing like scorpionic work right now. Now, people walking away from the material path. Yeah, you're gonna just see a lot of people sitting in meditative spaces everywhere around the world. Again, we're not seeing them because, you know, Pisces is the bedroom. It's like hidden away. It's not seen, you know, under your bed somewhere. So people are going to be doing a lot more escapism through meditation, projecting, right, into these other realities. Parties are glamorous and dreamy. So if you have a party or a get-together, there's a great opportunity to create a very, like, vibey, relaxed, like, feeling almost like the 70s with the cool dew, but no, this is more like totally out there, like intangible. Maybe I'm a little dizzy and drunk, kind of spinning feel. Okay, but it's fun, it's relaxing, it's free, it's freeing. No bounds or limits, full of passion and love with no bounds or limits. A lot of again, the spiritual union, the unconditional love, the agape love, dissolution of mental prisons and barriers as well. So we're going to be able to escape our own mental patterns. I'm telling you, we're going to like be able to master the mind by understanding how the spiritual body works and the spiritual spheres work. Divine resurrection could be a complete end, you know. Ending of times. I didn't want to get, you know, too much into that, but it's an ending of time, an ending of a complete like era and time. 12-year cycle closing out. You know, you could have had 10 children in 12 years. Who knows? Now here, let's give some kind of projects and dates of some pretty cool things that were released when Pisces was in when Jupiter was in Pisces, so that you can kind of understand like the energies. So typically when Jupiter is in Pisces, we see a lot of scandals within banking due to like fraud and scamming. So a lot of fraud and scamming and banking issues with Pisces, but you're going to see this being reprimanded more on a more governmental structure, as like Jupiter represents like those bankers and the government diplomat, like political leaders and stuff like that. Jupiter can represent almost those who are a little bit like high and mighty a bit, or who are like in a scholarly level and frame, who kind of tend to govern these types of things. And you see, like, you can see like there's I saw like bankruptcies and banks having to be bankrupt or not foreclosed or closed due to fraud and scamming and such like that. And then also in 2 occasions we saw scandalous behavior with presidents. So we had the first one with President Nixon in 1974, I believe, and then with Bill Clinton in 1998. So, right? Yeah, 1998. Okay. Also, so like some scandalous things happening with the higher ups, people who are supposed to be like in prestige, or who are supposed to have good poise and just structure. Think the Hierophant in the Tarot. All right, so let's see. So when last time Jupiter was in Pisces in 1974, The Exorcist was released. So this is how we go back into that This is how we end up going back to the imagination and movie and dream time realm, but in a horrific way, like horror movies, demons, like spiritual things that are scary, um, um, like fictional characters and beings and magical beings and stuff like that that scare us. And so some of us are going to be experiencing the darker side of Pisces, which could be full of fear and paranoia and uncertainty and confusion and you know, abuse. And so we could see the darker side of Pisces through creative outlets. So The Exorcist was released in 1974 when Jupiter was in Pisces, I believe, right? It was like a couple days before it went in, which is that 29-30 degree Jupiter in Aquarius going to deliver it right with that Jupiter Pisces entry. And then Stephen King's first novel was also released in 1974. And the first novel was Carrie. You guys remember that horror movie, Carrie? Horror come to life via imagery, illusion, or words, okay? Also, there is like a lot of things happening with serial killers. I believe 1974 with Ted Bundy. He was out there. A lot of his attacks were seen. So we see serial killers and like really weird things that could be gruesome in the thick of night. But the funny is that some of them don't really care whether it's night or day, which Ted Bundy did not. And there's a blurring between those lines where realities are crossed and these deeper, darker fantasies could actualize themselves, okay? Now we have opening of borders, like a lot more freedom of travel. So we're gonna see a lot less of the restriction within travel. But also, what I noticed was a lot of airplane crashes into the ocean with Jupiter and Pisces. So a lot of plane crashes, and Jupiter again rules Sagittarius, which would be those planes. So planes crashing into the ocean, like literally lots of them. There are a lot of plane crashes. Also water vessel tragedies as well. And go figure, the Titanic wins 11 awards in 1998. The Titanic, Jupiter in Pisces, and was the most watched Oscar award broadcast with like freaking 56 million people tuning into this Oscar award broadcast, and Oscar awards being Pisces. Pisces is that whole award, glitz and glamour, let me dress up, like flapper girl kind of energy, like lots of like frill or like beads and bedazzle and all that pretty cool stuff and things that like shimmer, okay? Now, yep, Jupiter, yep. So also check this out. The first iPad was released, I believe in 1998, was it? The first iPad was released. What in the world, okay? So this is that technology emerging with that Piscean realm, right? Taking a dream and using technology as a channel to bring it into reality. Largest oil spill in history in the Gulf of Mexico. So again, a lot of flooding, maybe some tragedies surrounding water, right? Increase in the value of art. So artists are going to be coming alive. This is the rise of the starving artists, if you would. Sorry, I go back and forth here. I see scientists announce they've created a functional synthetic genome. So this would also happen during Jupiter and Pisces time. Scientists announced that they've created a functional synthetic genome, which is the ability to create like DNA, like replicate DNA. Instagram first test post was also released during Jupiter in Pisces, and the official launch was October 2010. So we saw Instagram as a new platform, which is very Piscean. It's Piscean and Aquarian. where we're taking imagery, right? Because again, Pisces rules pictures, photography, artists, right? And translating that through technology into reality where we're blurring the lines, right? How are you across the world, but I see you right on my phone? Okay, one day we're going to be able to put our finger right through that phone. Okay, so we have monsoons and flooding. We saw a lot of them in Pakistan. We even had flooding in Texas during a Jupiter in Pisces. Also, August 10th, 2010, what was it 2010? The H1N1 influenza pandemic is over, declared to go back to typical seasonal patterns. So we might see the same thing with COVID as the pandemic is announced to be over. So the H1N1 influenza pandemic was declared over in 2010 when Jupiter was in Pisces. But then we also see earthquakes. I don't know why. There was a lot of earthquakes with Jupiter in Pisces eras, and then dams bursting. So like a lot of water flooding through. And then we have unexpected manifestations, kind of like the water washing up that gold for you that you've been looking for out of nowhere. Newfound inspiration, fantasy novels, etheric flowing. Okay, oh no, I read that already. I'm sorry. And then we have, a couple things. Toon Disney was launched. Animal Kingdom Disney was launched. And so like we might see just like pretty cool things. Maybe new amusement parks, maybe new theme parks, like new movie theaters, more structures where entertainment and dream world can come together, like Comic-Con, dressing up, fairy legs. We're gonna see a lot of people integrating their dream realm and their fairy realm and their magical realm more into their personality, style, and aesthetic. Okay, now I would like to go through each of the zodiac signs and tell you how it's affecting each of you, but this video is a little bit long right now. I will do my best to come back and tell you and give you your individual predictions. So I hope this video serves you well. I'm sorry if I'm a bit disorganized, but I'm just glad that I've been able to deliver it to you. So thank you for tuning in with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share if you want to. And until next time, I'll talk to you. Thank you.